Have you ever walked into a room and felt the air shift before anyone said a word? Some people don't just enter a space, they change it. Not with their clothes, not with their voice, but with something deeper, something invisible, yet undeniable. Now here's the unsettling question. Could it be that you make others uncomfortable simply by being yourself? Carl Jung believed the human psyche extends beyond the limits of the body. Meaning, you're not just flesh thoughts and words. You carry an invisible field around you, an aura that moves before your voice does. When your aura is aligned with your most authentic self, people don't just see you, they feel you. But here's the paradox, not everyone welcomes that presence. Some are drawn to it like moths to a flame, sensing you carry something they've been missing. Others, however, recoil. They feel exposed. Why? Because, without meaning to, your light shines directly on their shadows, the very parts of themselves they've been avoiding, and that's when the tension begins. You didn't say anything. You didn't do anything. Yet suddenly the atmosphere changes. Jung described the self as the organizing center of our psyche, where our ego meets our essence. When someone lives in coherence with that self, when their thoughts, emotions, and actions align, their very presence becomes a mirror. And let's be honest, not everyone likes what they see reflected back at them. In this video, we're going to uncover 13 powerful signs that your aura is so strong, so magnetic, that even without trying, it unsettles the people around you. But this isn't just about them. It's about you, about recognizing the invisible force you carry and understanding why your presence has the power to rearrange an entire room, not because of vanity, but because of truth. Sometimes you walk into a place, say nothing at all, and yet people turn their heads. It's not your outfit. It's not the tone of your voice. It's something far more subtle, a silent vibration announcing I'm here. Carl Jung suggested that presence is shaped by everything we've lived through, everything we've integrated, and every truth we've chosen to stand by. That's the real source of your aura. Not some mystical glow, but the energetic field created by your story, your scars, your battles, and your unshakable values. Think of it like an invisible signature stamped into the air. Some people fade as soon as they leave the room. Others, like you, linger. Their presence can still be felt long after they've gone. Why? Because true presence doesn't depend on appearances. It's born from inner coherence. It's like a fragrance no one sees yet everyone smells. Not rehearsed charisma, not stage presence, but a subtle density. A gravity that radiates when you're whole, when what you think, feel, and do all move in the same direction. That alignment creates a frequency impossible to replicate and even harder to ignore. Your aura doesn't follow behind you, it walks in before you. The body is just the formality, and that's beautiful. But it's also terrifying, especially for those who live fragmented, clinging to masks they hope no one notices. Because when they encounter someone like you, someone real, their carefully constructed illusions begin to tremble. And here's the truth. The more authentic you become, the sharper and clearer your presence gets. You don't need to shout. Your frequency speaks louder than any words. You don't need to explain yourself. Your vibration already carries the message. But here's the paradox. The more true you are, the more misunderstood you may become. Your presence, clean, aligned, awake, can feel uncomfortable to those still hiding behind disguises. But here's the twist, that very discomfort might be the spark that wakes someone from their sleep. So if you've ever felt like you don't fit in, if you've sensed that your mere existence stirs up reactions you don't understand, maybe your aura is doing exactly what it was meant to do, create movement. Picture this. You walk in peacefully, not seeking attention, and yet the atmosphere thickens. Voices lower. People avoid your gaze. The air feels heavy, charged. You haven't done anything, but everything has shifted. Carl Jung taught that every person carries a shadow, all the pieces we rejected or buried to be accepted by others. When your aura is strong and authentic, it brushes against those shadows without asking permission. And that's when the reactions begin. A stranger glares at you for no reason. Another avoids you. Someone else, oddly enough, puts you on a pedestal. None of these reactions are really about you, yet somehow you become the screen on which they project their battles. And here's where it gets dangerous. Sometimes you might start blaming yourself. You think you're too much. You feel you should shrink to make others comfortable. But hiding your light to soothe someone else's shadows is one of the most subtle forms of self-betrayal. Because real presence is neutral. What changes is the emotional state of the person who receives it. For those who are ready, you'll be a doorway to courage, clarity, even relief. For those who aren't, you'll be a trigger stirring envy, fear, or rejection. But remember, none of it is personal. It's not about arrogance, it's about presence. And presence, when it's real, activates everything hidden in others. You become a living mirror. And let's face it, honest mirrors are frightening. So let me ask you, would you dare to keep shining, even if your light reveals what others want to keep locked away? Jung once wrote, "Truth has a terrifying power for those still hiding behind masks." And that's exactly what your energy represents when it's whole, a truth that can't be ignored. You don't have to attack anyone to cause conflict. You don't have to confront directly to create transformation. Just being complete, aligned inside already shakes what's fractured around you. That's why sometimes you feel out of place. Your vibration moves invisible structures, touching layers of the psyche without you even realizing it. Not because of force, but because of truth. And yes, it can be exhausting. It can bring loneliness. It can even make you question your worth. But if there's one certainty, it's this: your presence liberates. And not everyone is ready to be liberated. Some people will avoid you like someone running from a fire. Others will follow you like a compass they didn't know they needed. And all of this while you simply exist. So here's the warning. Never lower your vibration just to be more acceptable. What's acceptable rarely transforms. And you weren't born to be acceptable, you were born to transform. And it's not just humans who sense it. There's a wisdom beyond words, something instinctive that animals, children, even nature itself respond to. Have you noticed how certain animals approach you almost as if they already know you, or how a child stares at you with a disarming sincerity? That isn't coincidence, it's resonance. Because dogs don't care about your resume. Babies don't care about your status. Trees don't care about your appearance. Yet all of them feel you. They read the frequency beneath the mask, the vibration you can't fake. And when your aura is clean-centered and true animals trust you, children gravitate to you, and nature embraces you. Some beings live with their senses wide open. Animals, children, the natural world, they don't analyze, they feel. And when your energy aligns with your truth, they recognize you instantly. A child may smile at you before knowing your name. A cat might leap onto your lap without invitation. A forest can feel more alive as you walk through it. It's as if nature itself whispers, "You belong here." That sense of belonging, the one so many chase in people, is often found in silence. In the gaze of an animal, in the rustle of leaves where no explanations are needed. But the opposite is also true. When you're in conflict with yourself, when your energy is misaligned, even the innocent sense it. Animals keep their distance. Children become restless. The air around you closes in. Not because you're bad, but because frequency never lies. Your aura isn't measured by how much it impresses others. It's measured by how effortlessly it communicates truth, without words, without performance. And in that silent communication, the most innocent are often the wisest. While adults analyze whether they can trust you, a child decides in seconds. A dog decides in seconds. Life itself decides in seconds. That's the lesson. Your energy doesn't need to justify itself, it already speaks. And when animals and children respect your aura, trust it, you're walking the path of coherence. A path where acceptance isn't something you beg for, it's something you embody. Because presence is the oldest language, and those who still know how to listen feel it immediately. People feel it even if they don't have the words for it. They might never study psychology or energy, but they know when something about you can't be explained and can't be ignored. Carl Jung said, We do not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. And that's the journey your aura carries. It wasn't born polished, it was forged. Your presence is the sum of what you faced in silence. The nights you rebuilt yourself from scratch. The storms you survived when the world seemed to collapse. The masks you tore off knowing you'd be judged. That's why your energy carries scars, and that's why it carries truth. The weight others feel in you doesn't come from a book. It comes from the chaos you learn to order inside yourself. So when you enter a room, a part of you stays even after you leave. The silence feels different. The atmosphere reorganizes itself. People reflect in ways they didn't expect. That is your invisible field, your living legacy. But here's the catch: that impact often shows up as discomfort. People project, criticize, or walk away. And you, without knowing why, face rejection that feels unfair. Yet the reason is always the same. Your truth threatens the lies. Your freedom unsettles the chained. Your presence questions those addicted to pretending. And none of this is your fault. It's simply the price of refusing to betray yourself. Some will call you arrogant, even if you're quiet. Others will label you different, as if it were a flaw. Few will have the courage to admit the truth that something in you is inviting them to wake up. And waking up hurts. Your aura doesn't just carry who you are, it carries everything you've overcome. It's a living story. A book written in silence, one that others read without a single word spoken, and that's why you often don't need to explain yourself. Those who feel it already understand. Those who don't. No amount of explanation will ever convince them. You become a symbol, a reminder that it is possible to live with integrity, and at the same time a challenge to those still hiding behind masks. That's the paradox of real energy. It heals and unsettles, it comforts and confronts, it liberates and terrifies. But one thing it never does is shrink just to fit into places where your soul cannot expand. Never soften your truth just because it makes others uncomfortable. Because your presence, even in silence, is medicine for the ones who are ready, and an earthquake for the ones who are still asleep. And in the end, the strongest aura isn't the one that shines the brightest. It's the one that reveals the most. And you reveal because you've had the courage to face yourself fully. The fact that you've made it this far already says a lot. Chances are, as you've been listening, you've recognized yourself in more than one of these signs. Maybe you remembered moments when you walked into a room and felt the atmosphere shift, though you hadn't done a thing. Or times when people judged you as too much, when all you were doing was being genuine. Now maybe it all makes sense. Your aura isn't some mystical fantasy, it's the most honest expression of your inner journey. What others feel in you, even if they can't explain it, is your integrity vibrating. Your unwritten story, your healed scars, your refusal to shrink into smallness when your soul was made for greatness. You're not here to please. You're here to awaken. As Jung reminded us, what we do not confront in ourselves, we will encounter as fate. And maybe you are that fate for many. Showing up in their lives as presence, a presence that reflects, that unsettles, that reorganizes. So don't hide. The world doesn't need more masks. It needs complete people. Auras that illuminate even if they make others uncomfortable at first. Presences that don't just pass by, but leave a mark. Thank you for staying with me until now. Let me share something personal. There was a time when I couldn't understand why certain people pulled away from me without explanation. I thought I was doing something wrong. I even wondered if my intensity was scaring people off. Then, one day, an older man, someone who barely knew me, looked at me and said, "There's something in your eyes. Something that makes people remember what they've been trying to forget." I didn't know what to say in that moment. But later, it clicked. Presence speaks. And sometimes it speaks directly into the places others don't want touched. So if you've ever felt that if you've dealt with unexpected distance, awkward stares, or even over-the-top admiration, understand this. Maybe your aura is exactly what the world needs, even if the world doesn't quite know how to handle it yet. Keep being who you are. Because your truth, even in silence, already does far more than you realize. And if you've stayed with me this long, it means you're not just curious, you're searching. You want deeper answers about who you are and where your life is going. That's why I created something special. Not just another book of inspirational quotes, but a real manual, a map for the soul. Something that blends science, philosophy, and critical thinking to help you break old patterns, question your identity, and rebuild yourself from the ground up. This isn't for someone content with autopilot living. It's for those who feel that inner pull toward change, evolution clarity. If that's you, you'll find the link in the pinned comment. Don't read it just out of curiosity. Read it because your life depends on it. And if you choose this path, trust me, you won't be the same person by the end. If this video resonated with you, hit the like button now before your aura shuts it off on its own, just to test your intuition. And of course, subscribe to the channel. But if you don't just know your aura, might feel guilty for letting this chance slip by. Also, check out the videos appearing on screen. One of them will show you why certain people suddenly disappear from your life. The other might reveal what your shadow has been trying to tell you about your relationships, but you'll only discover that if you click. So until next time, or maybe sooner, in that invisible field between one awakened soul and another in expansion.